Growing up in my house, emotions were treated like a weakness. My dad was a man's man. Ex-military, strict, and completely allergic to anything even remotely vulnerable. My mom wasn't much different. The few times I cried as a kid, I was told to man up. Or worse, mocked. "Real men don't cry," my father would grunt while I wiped my eyes behind closed doors. The message was clear. Emotions were shameful, especially for boys. I was 9 when my dog, Max, died. I cried all night, clutching his leash. My dad caught me in the hallway and looked disgusted. "It's just a dog," he barked. "You're embarrassing yourself." That moment stayed with me like a scar that never fully faded. I learned to bottle things up. When I got bullied at school, I stayed quiet. When I was heartbroken in high school, I smiled through it. Every ache, every wound was hidden behind a mask of forced toughness. I thought maybe one day they'd notice I was suffering. They never did. I started therapy secretly when I was 19, during college. I was drowning in depression and had no tools to deal with it, just years of repressed pain and anger. My parents would have scoffed if they knew, but therapy saved me. For the first time in my life, I started to feel human. Fast forward a few years, I got a job at a successful startup, moved out, built a life, a healthier life. I still checked in with my parents, but the calls were short and shallow. They never asked how I felt, only about money or achievements. They loved bragging to the family about my career, but still rolled their eyes at the idea of therapy or mental health. Then, everything changed when my younger brother, Alex, had a breakdown. He was 21 and had just flunked out of college. He spiraled into a dark place, the same darkness I knew too well. My parents panicked. They didn't know what to do. Suddenly, the emotions they mocked were crashing into their own home. And they turned to me. When they called me about Alex, my mum's voice was trembling. "He's not eating. He just stays in his room. Says things like, 'What's the point anymore?' We don't know what to do," she said, clearly panicked. It took everything in me not to snap back. Oh, now emotions are real. Now crying matters? Instead, I stayed calm. He needs help, real help. Therapy, possibly medication, maybe even inpatient care if he's not safe. My dad scoffed in the background. "He's just being dramatic. A phase. He needs to man up." That was it. That sentence made my blood boil. "Dad, you raised us to suppress everything. What did you think was going to happen?" Silence. They had no answer. Over the next few days, I stepped in to help Alex because no one else knew how to. I talked to him every night, encouraged him to seek help, even used my own money to get him a private therapist. My parents couldn't afford it. Years of bad financial decisions and prideful ignorance had left them broke, but still arrogant. As I helped my brother through the roughest part of his life, I realized something. I was still the emotional punching bag of the family. They wouldn't admit they were wrong. They didn't apologize for the years of cruelty or for mocking me when I needed help. They just expected me to handle it. Again. One day, after a long phone call with Alex, where he told me through tears, "You're the only one who gets it," I broke down myself. And for the first time in decades, I didn't feel ashamed for crying. That night, my dad called me. He sounded unusually quiet. "Your mom and I were talking. Maybe we should look into counseling. For the family. Maybe you were right." I didn't respond right away, because while part of me wanted to scream, "Finally!" another part of me realized it was too late. They didn't get to break me for years and expect me to fix them now. "I'm glad you're considering that," I said, "but I won't be a part of it. Not anymore." There was a pause. Then my mom got on the phone, sniffling. "You're really going to cut us off?" I took a deep breath. "You cut me off emotionally years ago. I'm just returning the favor." After that call, I expected a flood of angry messages, but instead, there was silence. A few weeks passed. Alex kept checking in with me. Therapy was helping him. He'd started going outside again, picked up sketching, something he used to love as a kid. I sent him supplies, books, and encouragement. I told him I was proud of him. Words I had never heard growing up. One day, Alex messaged me. Mom and Dad asked if I wanted to move back home. I said no. I told them I was staying with friends until I could stand on my own. I think they're finally getting it. That message meant everything. My little brother, the one they were trying to mold into a cold, emotionless version of our father, was starting to set boundaries. Something I only learned to do in my late 20s. But then came the email, a long, rambling apology from my mother. She said she didn't understand mental health when we were growing up, that she thought pushing me to be strong would protect me from the world, that she was wrong, and at the end, a desperate request. Your father and I are struggling. Emotionally, financially, everything. We don't have anyone else. Please, just talk to us. I stared at that email for hours, not because I didn't know what to say, but because part of me still wanted to fix things, to heal something that was never really whole. But I also knew this. Forgiveness without change is just enabling. So I replied, I've already done the hard work of healing. I won't go back to pretending everything was fine. If you want to repair this, go to therapy. Work on yourselves. I'm not your emotional crutch anymore. I choose peace now, even if that means I choose distance. They didn't respond, but days later, Alex told me they finally called a family therapist. 6 months later, I got another email, this time from my dad, not my mom. My dad, it was short, blunt like him, but different. Started therapy. Hard. Didn't think I needed it. Turns out I did. You were right. I don't expect anything from you. Just wanted to say thank you. I'm trying to do better for Alex. That email wrecked me more than any insult he ever threw at me. It wasn't some grand Hollywood redemption arc, but it was real. It was more emotion than I had ever seen him show in my entire childhood. I didn't reply right away. Instead, I forwarded it to Alex. His response? He cried after sending it. I've never seen him cry before. That was when it hit me. All this time, I thought I'd been broken by my parents. But I was actually the one breaking the cycle. Not just for myself, but for my little brother. 2. I didn't become cold like they wanted. I didn't shut down my emotions. I learned how to feel everything and still keep going. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need to scream at them or demand apologies. I had already won. Because I finally built a life where I could say no, where I could draw boundaries, where I could cry and not feel ashamed. And that was strength. Today, my parents are still in therapy, slowly changing, slowly healing. I'm not ready to welcome them back completely, but I'm not angry anymore. And that in itself is freedom.